ahead on Amari, his usage, not just production, but in terms of how often he was targeted, even when he was on the field, it was down. What do you make of his relative lack of involvement, especially for someone who's got the contract of a number one wide receiver?
I just think it's an offensive philosophy, and
it wouldn't have worked. Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matter. Let's go. Well, yeah, we dealing with the system stuff again, because this is something that's very important. It's something that's very important, and it's so many different angles to kind of see this from. And I really want to address this even more from another dimension, because you have to look at this from all angles. And when you look at this from all angles, it's pretty clear that this is a system that's not built for a Super Bowl. This system is built to make the playoffs. And that's exactly what I said in the thumbnail. The committee system is built to make the playoffs. It's not to win Super Bowls. We go kind of go through that. Also, I do want y'all to go back and check out another video I did on receiver by committee. Concept is likely the vision of Stephen Jones, because I'm really seeing this. This is becoming more and more clear that this is a system that's likely been pushed on all the OCs, Scott Linehan as well as Kellen Moore. I spent a lot of time pointing at Kellen Moore, but as I measure Kool-Aid, y'all already know me. I'm going to correct it. I'm going to get stuff right and factual as much as possible. It's just no way you can look at all the tea leaves and not see the meddling hand of Stephen Jones. And this is something that he probably believes in, but this is something that he really needs to abandon. This is something that he truly needs to abandon. So we go look at this and we go through this from a concept standpoint and really explain why it's built to not win it all.
Back to the decision ahead on Amari, his usage, not just production, but in terms of how often he was targeted, even when he was on the field, it was down. What do you make of his relative lack of involvement, especially for someone who's got the contract of a number one wide receiver?
I just think it's an offensive philosophy, and with when we had the skilled players that we had, between Kellen and Dak, I think there was a progression of where you threw the ball, and depending on how the defense played you, it would point the ball to certain places where, hey, if they're going to double over here and they're going to double over the top over here, then that's going to dictate that the ball goes here. So,
and see, that's nothing to ignore. See, a lot of people are ignoring that. See, when I was talking about it, it's conspiracy theory. When Skywalker was talking about it, it's a conspiracy theory. When other people really was pointing at this system as the breakdown of the offense, including all these Hall of Famers, multiple Hall of Famers, literally, I say this the same thing every week. Multiple Hall of Famers literally pointed directly at the system of Kellen Moore. You can't get no more evidence than Stephen Jones himself saying the exact same thing, to the point where he said, if the defense doubles over here, that dictates that the ball goes here. So with you saying that, basically what he's saying and still thinking this is smart is that the defense literally dictates where your offense goes. That's what he's saying. And I'm gonna make the case right now that if we were the Rams, we would have lost that Super Bowl with this system. And it's real easy to break down. This is not hard at all. This committee system is only built to make the playoffs. All we got to do, let's look at a couple of things. First thing, you got to look at this. The most double covered wide receivers in the NFL and how often they are open. Okay. Guess who's the most doubled? Yeah. If you guess that Amari and Devontae Adams are one of the most doubled in the NFL, you were right. Yeah. And then it also talks about how often they were open. Amari is open 53% of the times, even higher than Devontae Adams. But what's the difference? They still target their guy. That is the key difference. Even Cooper Kupp, you can look at that he was doubled only 9.5% of the time, but was open 55% of the time. So why do we need to know that? Because we're going to exchange players and teams. That's what we go do. We go use our common sense. So let's go back to the most current Super Bowl. Oh, we remember what happened. Yeah, it was on the line. And when everything was on the line, the Rams said, you know what? We are going to keep targeting our main guy. Now, Dallas is saying, you can just listen to Stephen Jones himself. They asked him directly, why was Cooper not targeted? He said out his own mouth, it's the system. It's a philosophy. That's what he said. Oh, I guess I'm not the conspiracy theorist no more if I actually listen to what he said. And if I listen to what Kellen Moore said. So all you got to do is think for yourself. If we would have been sitting there playing in the Super Bowl and Amari would have got doubled, then what we would have done in our system is go away from him in the key moment. So would we had ended up like the Rams as champions? Likely not. That is the whole point. Now, everybody's trying to warn them. Everybody. Multiple Hall of Famers. Multiple. Kurt Warner, bless his heart, did a whole film breakdown on this. Everybody is saying, hey, guys. Hey, Mr. Accountant, Mr. Stephen Jones, Mr. Bean Counter. You don't win championships with cap budgeting. You need ballers. You need players that's accustomed to rising in the big moments. Oh, just think about what happened in the San Fran game, because this is becoming more and more clear now. Think about what happened in the San Fran game. Remember, in the key moment, it was Cedric Wilson out there on a deep ball, and Dak was rolling out. He threw it deep, and Cedric lost the ball in the air. Yes, he did. And he made a wrong pivot because right now, he's not built for the big moment. He's a number 3, number 2 receiver. You need a true number 1. You need guys that's made for the big moments. Guys who've earned and taken the number 1 from their current teams. Guys who started. Oh, man, let me go ahead and tell y'all the truth real quick, because I'm going to tell y'all the truth. This goes back into the video that I did. So I'm going to give you a little bit of facts and I'm going to move on from this. I already did this, but I'm going to tell y'all this. Go do this research on your own and you'll see this for yourself. Go to lineups. It's free. You don't even have to pay for this. You can go to wide receiver snap counts. I want y'all to do this case study and go look at this. So everybody on Cooper Kupp, they on this team right now. He's the best. He's the nobody better. Nobody better. Nobody better. He's the best. He's the best. Is he really? Or did the Rams just get smarter? Because if you look at history, I look back at the last 4 years of snap counts. You know what you will see? You will see both a ramp up in snap counts. You would also see a ramp up with Cooper Kupp of targets. So did the player change or did the philosophy change? The philosophy changed. The Rams went from, we're going to have a receiver committee early where all our receivers are good, and they morphed. They got smarter. What they said was, you know what? This guy's continually winning. He's our number 1. He wins on doubles. He wins on everything. Let's keep going at him. Yeah. But we still having a public fight right now. And sad to say, bless his sweet heart, Mr. Stephen Jones watched this Super Bowl. He watched Kansas City in what was called one of the greatest games ever. He watched it. And what did Kansas City do in the clutch? What did they do when they was driving in overtime? Did any of the role players get a chance to touch the ball? No. The only people that touched the ball on them final drives was Kelsey and Hill. Kelsey and Hill. Yeah. So, listen, with Boss Cowboy Sports, I'm going to tell you like this. I don't trust this system at all. I'm telling you, it's fool's gold. I don't care if it win 15 games. It is not made for the big moments. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying a cent of it. It's a good enough system. It's not a championship system. So based on the stubbornness of our front office, I'm going to tell you what I really hope that we do in this offseason. We need to go on that defense. And I agree with most people that believe it's going to be a lot of offensive line talent sitting there at 24. But man, I don't trust these political corporate Cowboys. We went from being America's team to corporate America team. That's what we are. We are a corporate America, white collar, snooty team where we sitting here literally talking about tagging Schultz and letting Cooper go. Where we want to keep role players and get rid of stars and package that as Dak friendly. Remember, they did that before. They took a whole bunch of average receivers and then labeled it Dak friendly. Nah. So listen, I'm keeping my eye on this. This is a video to share. This is a video to keep the word out there because not that many people talking about this, and it's just. This is the biggest dilemma going into 2022. The fact that they are all in committed, led by Stephen Jones, to this receiver by committee. The only good thing is he upgraded it a little bit. The former receiver by committee was a bunch of number 3s. This one is number 2s with one guy potentially turning the corner and becoming the number 1. And that's CeeDee Lamb. But nobody can say today that CeeDee Lamb is that number 1. Not yet. So if he hasn't fully turned the corner, why would you get rid of your current number 1 who's already an established number 1? Maybe we could be smart like the Rams was, where they said, you know what? Let's abandon this committee approach because it's good enough to get us to the Super Bowl. What's going to cause us to win it? You got to target your stars. Just like all the Hall of Famers already told y'all. But will you listen? We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on it. Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matters.